What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. The Leafeon VMAX and Sylveon VMAX cards from the upcoming release in Japan, Eevee Heroes, have been revealed and translated. So we already saw all of the other Eevee VMAXs and all of the Eeveelution Vs, including Leafeon and Sylveon. So in this video, we'll look at a brief review of Leafeon V and Sylveon V, and then I'll give my first impressions of the VMAX forms for each of the Eeveelutions that were just revealed. Before we hop into that, shout out to PotownStore.com, my lovely sponsor, and the best place for you to get TCGO codes. If you're looking to play the Pokemon trading card game online, PotownStore.com is the best place to get the codes so you can buy open packs, trade for cards, build decks, and play the game. Make sure you use code Celio for 5% off over there. Also, subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content if you enjoy the video you're watching right now and you want to see more, and also be sure to like and comment. So like I said, quick review of Leafeon V and Sylveon V. So Leafeon V here has the ability Greening Cells. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass energy and attach it to one of your Pokemon, and then your turn ends. So this is interesting and has potential. We've already looked at it, just wanted to give a little bit of a refresher. I do think that ability has potential though. Sylveon V, a Rapid Strike Pokemon, which is worth noting, and has the ability Dream Gift. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for one item card and put it into your hand, then your turn ends. So a little bit similar to Leafeon. Now where Leafeon excels energy, this searches you out an item, so that kind of made me think that this would be going into like kind of a control theme, disruption theme, resource gathering theme, which we've seen from Sylveon cards in the past. And since they both have these abilities that allow them to search the deck for something and then end the turn, it made me think that their VMAXs would not necessarily synergize, since they are drastically different types. They, different VMAXs of different types aren't necessarily known for meshing together into decks and combining together. But I did think they would share some kind of attributes. Maybe their abilities are similar, or even they have a bit more abilities that end turns, things like that. We didn't really see that. And also something disappointing is the Vs don't have synergy with the VMAXs. Maybe the Sylveon a bit, and we'll go into that. But they definitely have less synergy with their VMAX versions than I would have hoped for. So we'll start with Leafeon VMAX. Leafeon VMAX has 310 HP, weak to fire, resistant to nothing, 2 retreat cost, grass type of course, evolves from Leafeon V. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Grass Knot, 60 damage times the amount of energy in your opponent's active. Let's start this over. 60 damage times the amount of energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Let's say they have an average retreat cost of 2 like Leafeon has, then you'll be doing 120. If they have 3, then you'll be doing 180. Galar Mine increases retreat costs by 2, so maybe you buff that up a little bit. So if they have a 3 retreat cost, you can buff it up to 5 by playing your Stadium for turn, and then that means you're doing 300 damage, which would be actually very good. It just kind of depends on the Pokemon that are in the meta and what their retreat costs are like. Do they have things in their deck? Excuse me. Do they have cards, abilities, effects in their decks that give their Pokemon less retreat cost or free retreat cost? But this could synergize well with Galar Mine, essentially boosting your damage on your turn. It's like, no matter if the Stadium sticks to your opponent's turn, what's important is that you get to play it down and it makes your attack do a lot more damage. So the Grass Knot has a little bit of potential there, so keep that in mind when we're looking at, meta games for the next 2.5-3 years, looking and seeing if there's a lot of Pokemon with 3 retreat costs that you can capitalize on with this plus Galar Mine. And then Max Leaf, 170 for 3 and heal 30 from this Pokemon, not very good at all. Now, notice, like I said, it doesn't synergize, like, at all with Leafeon V. I mean, you could ramp up Leafeon V itself with greening cells, and then turn 2 max leaf for 170, but that's not like something you would try to do. Now the other one, Sylveon VMAX. Sylveon VMAX is a Rapid Strike Pokemon. Now I did say I thought this would have some control type elements to it, maybe something like Togekiss VMAX or like Sylveon GX in the past, or even energy removal, things like that. Now it doesn't, but it does have Cherish Touch for a Psychic Energy. Attach an energy from your hand to one of your benched Pokemon, then heal 120 damage from that Pokemon. Now, this is interesting, but let me read the next attack as well. Max Harmony for 3 colorless energy does 70 damage, plus 30 more for each type of Pokemon on your bench. So if you have 5 different types of Pokemon on your bench, then this does 220. Which isn't bad, especially when you take into account that this could just be for 2 energy attachments, a basic energy plus rapid strike energy, or the rainbow rapid strike energy to satisfy the psychic cost in the first attack, plus a rapid strike energy. So for 2 energy, doing a max of 220, maybe you're only doing 190. Even if you're only doing 190 or even 160, that's still 2 shots VMAXs. So as long as you're 160 plus against most VMAXs that aren't healing, you'll be fine to 2-shot if that's what you really want to do. But this seems more like a situational card that you would run in a Rapid Strike toolbox. Now, the problem with this is, in the past when we've had toolboxes with multiple stage 1s, let's call VMAXs stage 1s for now for this case. They function like a stage 1 would function in most ways. Let's think back to like 2011 stage 1s box with like Donphan Prime, Zoroark, again Mega, and I believe there might have been one other one that some people threw in as a tech. In those days, running 3 or 4 different kinds of stage 1 Pokemon, and then maybe a basic attacker or 2 as well, made a little more sense than it does now, because you only get to use a maximum of 2, or I should say only a maximum of 1 of these VMAXs can get knocked out. And then once the second one's knocked out, your game is over. So if you're running Sylveon VMAX and Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX and Blaziken VMAX, it's possible. Maybe we can make a toolbox like that happen, a Rapid Strike toolbox with 3 different VMAXs and Zeraora V, maybe Empoleon V, you know, get all these different types in so Max Harmony can do enough damage. It's possible, but I do think it's a lot harder to pull off, make consistent, make viable, and make it competitive than stage 1 type toolboxes of the past, similar to this idea I'm talking about, have been. So Cherish Touch is nice because you can just attach any energy. You can attach a Rapid Strike energy if we're making this a Rapid Strike based deck. Heal that Pokemon. So this would be really great against other Rapid Strike decks that are spreading damage with Zeraora V and with Rapid Strike Urshifu. You can heal it for 120 on the bench while putting out Sylveon VMAX, which maybe doesn't have any damage at all on it, as a wall for the turn in the active, while healing your bench and filling it with energy. Maybe you even can Cheryl a Pokemon and then Excel energy with Sylveon VMAX, not even for the healing portion, but for the kind of regaining tempo a little bit, and not leaving that Pokemon in the active for a turn, something like that. Another thing is there's a Rapid Strike supporter coming out that allows you to heal 60 damage from 2 of your Rapid Strike Pokemon. So combining that with Sylveon's Cherish Touch, you could heal 60 from one and then 180 from the other, with the 60 from the supporter plus the 120 from Cherish Touch. Also, again, if we made this kind of toolbox, we would have Rapid Strike Urshifu with Fighting type. We would have Blaziken with Fire type and Sylveon with Psychic type. Maybe it's even just a 1-1 Sylveon line, and you drop it when Psychic is a good type to have on the board in that matchup, or if healing is important, or even just that tempo of putting out a Pokemon that's not your main attacker that you can retreat to the bench next turn, but you're getting to Excel and extra energy to the board for the turn, and let this one take a hit. So I do think Sylveon VMAX encourages some interesting types of play, And I think Rapid Strike has been doing that as a mechanic ever since it's been revealed, and ever since cards of Rapid Strike and Single Strike have been coming out. Rapid Strike has been making the game better, I think, largely. So it's interesting to see that. It's also interesting that it took making this new mechanic that's really just an emblem on a card to have them make more interesting and more thoughtful, in-depth cards, when, you know, Rapid Strike doesn't actually work any different than other cards. So it's interesting it took them slapping a new sticker on a card to actually be making these interesting cards that take some thoughtful play to reach the full potential of. But regardless of that, I do think Sylveon VMAX is quite a cool card. The Rapid Strike tag is what really sends it over the edge from being a meh card that probably won't see much play outside of rogue decks to maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something going on here with Sylveon VMAX. And I also want to point out, when I was talking about that I thought Sylveon VMAX would have some sort of like obvious control type style to it due to the ability on the original one, Cherish Touch isn't exactly aggressive. You know, it could be seen as a more of a passive or stalling or control type attack, but while it also has a quite good aggressive attack in Max Harmony. So we'll have to see how this pans out. I'm not sure how long it will take for Sylveon VMAX and the rest of Eevee Heroes to come out outside of Japan. But when it comes out, we'll see what happens with it. I think having the Rapid Strike tag on it gives it potential. Rapid Strike is just a very, very good subset of cards right now. Single Strike, the Single Strike energy is great, but the Single Strike Pokemon haven't been so far. We'll have to see. So those are my first impressions about Leafeon VMAX and Sylveon VMAX. I don't think Leafeon VMAX is doomed to never have a chance. But I feel like there's other cards that can do those kinds of things as well, and we've never seen much out of them. So I'm definitely not optimistic about Leafeon VMAX being a meta card anytime soon, but I do think Sylveon VMAX has some potential thanks to the combination of the Rapid Strike tag, it being a psychic Pokemon, which Rapid Strike doesn't have a good option for yet, and also having two different options of attacks, which is what really helps Rapid Strike thrive when it has even more options to add to the arsenal. So let me know what you guys think about Sylveon VMAX and Leafeon VMAX in the comments down below. And also a little extra one, what do you think about the removal of Fairy type from the Pokemon trading card game, and Sylveon VMAX is a psychic type Pokemon now? Still weak to metal, interesting enough though. Yeah, let me know what you think about all that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon TCG content, and check out PotownStore.com for all of your PTCGO needs using code CELIO for 5% off. Have a great day, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.